And we're coming from live through the porthole of the Good Ship Morning News here. I'm at the helm. No, it's through a tire. So that means Rob MacGregor must be here if there's tires on the set.
Tires and tools.
Tires and tools. Thank you for bringing the prop. We're talking tires, and I think I said that your advice was going to be not to buy winter tires, and I stand corrected. Your advice is to not buy snow tires.
Right,
okay.
right. There's a huge difference in them. If you take a look, and Annie said we've only got 2 minutes for this, so I'm going to be quick. This is a typical tread pattern off of a snow tire.
Right.
It's as hard as a rock.
Okay.
And the good people at Pirelli Canada, Anthony Palozza, has talked to me about this very thing. And the engineers have determined at Pirelli Canada that the optimum temperature and the critical temperature for these tires to operate properly is between 7 degrees plus, to the positive side, Celsius, and 0. And the rationale around that is that tires that looked like this and acted and behaved like this were too hard. So what they did was they came up with these rubber compounds and a silica-3 content, which is basically like a sand, put it into the tread block, and then recreated the tread design as well so that they don't get hard at those temperatures. They stay quite soft and pliable. And the difference is really quite amazing at those temperatures. It's right around where the ice starts to form.
Can we take a look at some of the video here, Dave? So what are we looking at here?
As an example, so here, and these are the conditions that we drive in the lower mainland, certainly.
It's getting away.
Yeah, it's like, that's going to leave a mark. But the problem with that is that film of water that forms over the top of ice as it's just at the point it's forming. And that's where these winter tires with these new compounds and these little tiny traction sipes, it looks like they've been slashed with a razor blade, and they are just covered. That's actually the way you tell that you're getting a proper winter tire.
They kind of act like little suction-y cups,
exactly.
Right? They grip.
Exactly. So don't buy snow tires.
Okay, so it's no to snow tires, yes to winter tires.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I'm not sure if Alana is still on the phones waiting to ask a question or not. Is she there, guys? Alana? Good morning. Maybe we'll go
Hello?
Hi, there she is.
Good morning.
Morning, Alana. Go ahead with your question. Can you hear us, Alana?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good morning to you. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, my question is that I've just purchased a new Chevy HHR car. It's a 4-cylinder automatic. When I read the manual, I didn't realize, but it says I'm supposed to use a 91 octane gasoline. And my question is, will it hurt the car if I use regular gas, or what is the situation with that?
Well, in order to get the most out of the engine, you're pretty much stuck with the 91. You can try a mid-grade. I wouldn't suggest that you go to a regular grade. It's a little too far down the octane scale. Try it with a mid-grade. If the engine doesn't ping or make this rattling sound like nickels in an empty coffee can, you'll be okay. But certainly start there. If it does anything, any of those noises, get back up to the 91, unfortunately. Yeah, there's a lot of cars out there, actually, because these engines nowadays, the technology is such, and they have them fine-tuned so much that a lot of manufacturers are having to go to the high octane numbers in order to make them function properly. And it's kind of it's a weird situation, because in order to get the fuel economy, they have to make the engines perform at a certain level, and in order to get them to do that, they have to go to the higher octane fuel. It just keeps building on itself. But yeah, it's a consideration when you're buying a new car. Watch what kind of fuel you have to put in it, because let's face it, it's getting expensive.
Makes sense. Vincent sent us an email, and he says, wondering why my car battery terminal has a white powder substance on the battery cables. Cleaned it off a few months ago, but the powder is returning.
That is an issue with, it could be an overcharging condition. What that means is that the battery is continuing to be in a weak state of charge, so the charging system on the engine that's spun by the belt is really working hard to keep that battery charged, and it's really going to become an issue for this fellow as the months get colder and you use the heater more, you certainly use the headlights more, the wipers. It puts a huge electrical strain on the system. So the first thing is to clean that off with a warm water and baking soda solution. Wash it all off, dry it, And then you could even put Vaseline around the terminals to help protect those terminals. What
Okay.
that is the sulfuric acid that's boiling out of the battery. It recondenses in the cool air above the battery and literally rains little acid rain, just a localized storm right down on top of the battery, and it reacts with the lead and the steel on the connections of the battery. That's what that is. So, and you'll have to get it checked. You should get that, get the charging system checked to see that it's not overcharging. The battery could be faulty, and it also could be a faulty charging system as well, something like a voltage regulator. I know we're out of time.
All right, Rob, thanks very much. Hope that answers your question, Vincent. By the way, more questions? Well, you can reach Rob through this address, backseatdriver@shaw.ca. And if you have a question for one of our Ask an Expert guests, email it to us ahead of time, which is, of course, what Vincent did, weekendnews@globaltv.com, and we'll make sure that your question gets to the appropriate guest. You're going to leave the tire as a parting gift?
Well, I
We'll
don't
do
know
the
if
rest of the show through the tire, maybe.
It's kind of bald. Oh, it's good for, yeah, good for effects, if nothing else.
Nobody brings props in like you do, my friend. That is for sure.